your grades came out recently. And I remember when my first semester grades came out, and I didn't do well. Probably horrible if you were to ask other people. And it was easy for me to feel disappointed and discouraged. It was easy for me to have doubts about myself and feel like I was not good enough. It was easy for me to look at the people around me and think, what do they have that I don't have? The hardest thing to do in that situation was to tell myself that I will do more, be more, and give more. I'm here to tell all of you today that you are not defined by your grades. There is more to each and every one of you, but you don't see it. Because there is a constant voice in all of our heads, that voice that says, you're not good enough. You don't have what it takes. Why do they seem to have everything? The hardest thing to do is to substitute that voice to say, I will do more, be more, and give more. Now, I'm in Ada. I'm staying at the inn. The channels at the inn are very limited, so I was watching The Bachelor. Feel free to laugh out loud. It's okay. And for those of you that don't know what The Bachelor is a reality show where a bachelor is trying to find a wife. There are 30 women competing to essentially win the heart of the bachelor. And at the end of each episode, the bachelor lets a number of women go. The first episode came on a couple of days ago, and at the end of the episode, when they're interviewing the women afterwards, the ones that got let go, they all said the same thing. All the women said, what do those other women have that I don't have? And I yelled at the TV, nothing. Nothing. It's because the bachelor's life experiences and opinions, he's attracted to a certain type of woman. These same women that were let go, if they were put in front of a different type of bachelor, they may have stayed on the show. And that's the point. You have a choice. You can choose to let your audience and external factors dictate your self-worth and your success. Or you have the choice to create your own success the way you see fit. You will go through life, you will be in front of a number of different audiences. The one thing that will always remain constant is you. It's easy to focus on your audience and why your audience isn't selecting you right now. The hardest thing to do is to tell yourself, I will do more, be more, and give more. And if you do that, I believe that the right bachelor will find you. Now I want to tell you about the first hearing I ever had as a lawyer. I started at the public defender's office, and I had done a number of arraignments and pleas, and I had watched a number of my peers handle hearings. It was my first time I was going to do a hearing. It was going to be a probable cause hearing, and that's where an officer gets on the stand and states the basis for why the person should be arrested and remain in custody. So I prepared forever, broke out the old criminal law books from Professor Clark, and said, all right, I'm going to do this. Had my notes ready to go, having the hearing, and I get up for my argument, got my notes there, I'm going through my argument, and the judge stops me, says, Mr. Shaw, are you sure that's what the law says? Hold on one second. So I go over to my table, it's got all these horn books, thousands of pages, and I'm flipping through them in a tizzy trying to find the answer. And for those of you that don't know me, when I get nervous or flustered, I sweat profusely in the face. Only in the face. The rest of the body plain as a whistle. The face. So I'm sweating profusely. I'm 25 years old. My client is 40. He's looking at me like, I'm going down, aren't I? There's a whole gallery full of clients back there. And I look back, and you can tell they're all looking like, I hope that guy's not my public defender. There's a juror, the jury box is filled with attorneys who are waiting for their case, and you can hear them kind of giggling and whispering to each other. And finally, I just gave up. So I just went back to the podium, and I just made something up. And the judge goes, nope, that's not it. I find probable cause. And then I sat my sweaty face down. I went home, and I felt disappointed, discouraged. I had doubts about myself. I thought I wasn't good enough. I looked at the other lawyers I was practicing with at the public defender's office, and I said, what do they have that I don't have? And then at that point, I told myself the hard thing, which was, I'm going to do more, be more, and give more. So for the next few months, I would sit down and read the statute book and put the statutes on a note card and find some cases, kind of explain the statute and put those on the note cards as well. And I created a ring of note cards I took to court. And one day, a few of the attorneys saw me using these note cards, and they came up to me and said, hey man, that's pretty cool. Do you mind if we get some copies of those note cards? I said, yeah, sure, no problem. I'm a nice guy. Let me get these note cards. I go to Kinko's. I say, hey man, I need 10 copies of these note cards. And obviously Kinko's, it's some exorbitant price. And the guy at Kinko's was like, why don't you just make it into a book? And I was like, oh, that's a great idea, Kinko's guy. Why are you working at Kinko's? So then I call Westlaw. And I say, hey, I want to do a pocketbook on criminal law. And they're like, pocketbooks? I don't even understand what you're saying. We don't do pocketbooks. That's ridiculous. I'm like, ridiculous? That's a pretty strong word. Ridiculous. So then I call LexisNexis. I say, hey, LexisNexis, I got this great idea. It's a pocketbook on criminal law. What do you think? They're like, who are you? Are you a judge? How long have you been practicing? At that point, I've been practicing for 6 months. They're like, what are you doing? No, and they just hung up the phone on me, actually. So at that point, I had a choice. I say, all right, this was a stupid idea. I don't even know why I'm pursuing something like this. These people are saying I can't do it, and just give up. Or I do the harder thing, which is I try to do more, be more, and give more. So I went to Barnes & Noble and bought a book on self-publishing. And I realized in the book that all these big publishers use this program called Adobe InDesign. So I bought the program. I went to Emory for 6 nights, learned how to use the program, and wrote the book myself. And I designed the cover by putting all those horn books I was sweating over on the floor and made the cover look like theirs. So subliminally you would think, oh, it's got to be legit. And I called the book The Code. I didn't want it to be called Shaw's on this, Shaw's on that, because like they said, are you a judge? Who are you? So I just made it a neutral title, The Code. I sold that book out of basically the trunk of my car like CDs. Went around the state, convincing people to buy them, and for 7 years I maintained that book. Published it, wrote it, edited it, proofread it, sold it, created the website, everything. And for 7 years, I pitched it to West and Lexus every year. Every year. Hey guys, I actually have a book here. What do you guys think? And every year, they shut me down. Every year, that audience said, I'm not selecting you. Last year in 2014, I partnered with the Institute for Continuing Legal Education, and they have agreed to publish the book. So now I write the book and they publish it, and that's an audience that found me, chose me for me. There is a phrase that I have adopted based on this experience, and that's not yet. When someone tells you no, or your audience doesn't select you, what they're really saying is that it? Are you done? Not yet. If you strive to do more, if you strive to be more, if you strive to give more, it will find you. The right audience will find you. I promise. I leave you with these final thoughts. Let go of the past. Start fresh today. You are not defined by the boundaries created by others, but by your own mind. Break those barriers today. Take a pledge with me that in 2015, you will change your mentality. You will say to yourself, I will do more. I will be more, and I will give more. I believe in you. I do. Now you believe in yourself.